Hey guys, tonight we're doing something different. We're slipping not just back in time, but into a world that's carved out of stone, hunger, and raw survival. The Stone Age, where comfort was a rumor and clothing wasn't sewn but torn from the backs of beasts you either killed or hoped someone else did. So, if you're settling in with soft blankets and central heating, just take a second to hit like, maybe subscribe. But only if this wild ride into prehistory feels worth it. Also, drop a comment to let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. Always cool to know who's staying up with us across the planet. Now, turn off the big lights. Maybe leave a fan running in the background for that soft hum. And let's begin. It's still dark. Not midnight dark, but the cold edge of morning kind of dark, where the sky hasn't committed to anything yet. You wake up not to the warmth of a bed, but to the jolt of reality. Your back pressed against a slab of stone that makes modern mattresses feel like a luxury of gods. This isn't a camping trip. There's no tent, no foam pad, no sleeping bag. Just stone, uneven, unsympathetic, and as old as time. If you're lucky, there's a strip of dried animal hide beneath you. If you're very lucky, it's not still damp with yesterday's rain or regret. You groan as you try to sit up, every joint in your body creaking like an old tree in wind. It's not just soreness, it's the kind of pain that tells you your body wasn't made for this. And yet here you are, expected to survive in it. Beside you, someone's already awake, crouched near the fading coals of last night's fire, sharpening a piece of bone into a blade. They don't greet you, they don't smile, they just glance over with the kind of expression that silently says, "Try not to be useless today." It's cold, but not the crisp, nostalgic cold of autumn leaves and wool sweaters. This is a deep, bone-dragging cold that seeps into your marrow and makes your breath hang in the air like a foggy warning. The fire has died to ash and smoke, and no one seems in a hurry to rebuild it. Out beyond the cave, the world is still shadowed. The sun hasn't shown up yet. Maybe it's waiting too. Reluctant to rise on a world where survival is a full-time job. The others in your group, let's not pretend you can call them friends, are already moving. These people don't start the day. They endure it. They rise without a word, stepping into the frost-bitten wind with the quiet resolve of those who understand that inaction equals extinction. You, on the other hand, are still blinking like someone dropped a poet into a war zone. You don't know what's expected of you, only that something is. And fast. Your stomach reminds you that food is not a given here. It growls like a warning bell. Not polite hunger, but the kind that feels like it's starting to eat you from the inside. You glance around for anything edible. Dried meat, a few berries, even a roasted insect would do. But there's nothing. In this time, breakfast isn't a routine. It's a miracle. If you want to eat, you have to earn it. Through sweat, through risk, through sheer dumb luck. And luck doesn't seem to be on your side. A wiry man chews on what looks like a strip of bark, nodding as if it's a delicacy. He offers you a bite, and you accept it like a starving animal. It tastes like wet splinters, woody and bitter, but mercifully not poisonous. Another person, more efficient than you by miles, holds up a bird the size of a fist. It's dead. They pluck it with swift, practiced fingers, feathers flying into the wind like downy confetti. You watch with a mix of awe and envy, and then realize they're not sharing. You think about foraging. Surely nature has something to offer. But as you scan the foliage, every berry looks either too bright or too dull, a suspicious neon or a warning sign disguised as blandness. You pluck one that vaguely resembles a plum. Before it reaches your lips, a nearby woman slaps it out of your hand. Her eyes say it all. I've buried people for less. You chew on a root you found near the cave mouth, fibrous, tasteless, and about as satisfying as eating rope. Your stomach rumbles again, unimpressed. Around you, the others work, not like office workers or even farmers. More like creatures in motion, each movement an act of survival. One sharpens a blade of flint, another weaves sinew into a net. You pick up a rock and stare at it, hoping inspiration will strike. It doesn't. The rock just sits there. You try to mimic the flint napper. He strikes two stones together and within seconds produces an edge sharp enough to shave bone. You try the same and a shard of stone ricochets into your forehead. Blood trickles. Congratulations. You've just invented Stone Age plastic surgery. A woman twisting strips of hide into rope makes it look effortless. You try and somehow tie your fingers together. You're now handcuffed by your own incompetence. Nobody tells you what you're doing wrong. They don't need to. Their silence is louder than any lecture. And then it hits you. Here in this brutal age, tools are not convenience. They are breath. Without them, you're prey. With them, you are maybe, just maybe, someone worth feeding. The wind picks up. The cave breathes in and exhales cold. Your fingers are numb. The fire's long gone, but you're ready to try again. You gather some wood, most of it wet. You rub sticks together. Nothing. You rub harder. Still nothing. Eventually, you get smoke, then ash. Then wind steals even that. Your arms ache. Your hands blister. You've failed. An elder, silently watching, walks over. No words, no judgment. They rearrange your kindling, strike flint once, twice, and fire blooms. Real fire. You stare, awestruck. They hand it to you without a smile and walk away. You hold the flame like it's a treasure. And for the first time today, something has gone right. But the day is just beginning. You're still recovering from the humiliating fire lesson when the tribe starts moving again. Not with chatter or loud commands. Everything here operates under a rhythm you haven't learned yet. They don't tell you what to do because they assume if you need telling, you're already a problem. You notice one of them sharpening a long spear, the shaft smoothed by use and repair. The flint tip gleams in the weak light like a promise, or a threat. Another person checks their woven satchel, loaded with ropes, tools, and who knows what else. You, on the other hand, have nothing. Not even the confidence to ask what's next, but you follow them anyway because not following feels worse. The forest waits like a test you haven't studied for. The trees are tall and indifferent. The ground is slick, full of hidden roots and moss-covered traps. Every sound makes you flinch. The rustle of a leaf, the snap of a twig, the distant call of something that doesn't care whether you live or die. You've been handed a spear, not gracefully. More like someone tossed it at you with the same enthusiasm they might offer a stick to a curious dog. It's heavy. The wood is rough, still bearing the scars of the tree it once was. It smells faintly like blood and rot, and your fingers don't quite know where to grip. The tip wobbles slightly. That might be normal. Or it might be the first sign you'll die holding it. You're not prepared for what comes next. A wild boar appears. Not a piglet or a cartoon sidekick. This creature is massive, its shoulders like barrels, its eyes small and black, filled with a kind of ancient hate. It snorts, pawing the earth like it knows you're the weak one. The others fan out, wordlessly. It's a choreography of efficiency. A man flanks to the left. A woman moves to block the boar's retreat. You raise your spear like a child playing soldier. And then the beast charges. You run, not elegantly, not with strategy. You flee the way a leaf falls, wildly, without dignity. Your feet betray you. You hit a root, and the earth greets your face with dirt and gravel. It tastes like your failures. Behind you, the tribe doesn't scream. They move with purpose. Spears fly. The air cracks. The boar squeals. A sharp, furious sound that feels too close. By the time you roll over, the fight is already done. The boar is on its side, still twitching. The ground is painted with its heat and struggle. The hunters are breathing heavily, but not talking. This was work. Nothing more. You stumble to your feet, trying to look helpful, as if tripping over your own shadow was part of the strategy. No one corrects you. No one praises you either. The carcass is heavy. 4 people strain to drag it back to camp. You trail behind, your legs aching, your pride somewhere under that root you tripped on. At the fire, they begin to carve the animal. The knives are stone, but the hands using them are sharper. The meat is divided with practiced precision. Bones are set aside. Fur is scraped. You're handed a strip of meat. Raw. Bloody. Chewy. You chew it anyway. It tastes like muscle and defiance. And oddly enough, you don't hate it. This was supposed to be your triumphant moment, the part where you proved yourself. But you didn't kill the beast. You didn't even help kill the beast. You just survived it. Barely. And in the Stone Age, that counts for something. Maybe not much, but something. Later, someone gestures for you to join a group heading out. This time, not for blood, but for roots, berries, and anything that won't bite back. You accept the invitation with enthusiasm, mostly because it doesn't involve being impaled by angry wildlife. You grab a pouch, rough spun and woven with twine, and follow the others into the underbrush. The ground is damp, the light filtered through leaves. You feel a momentary peace. Surely gathering can't be that hard. Wrong again. The first plant you find is beautiful. Glossy leaves, berries like jewels. You reach for it. A hand stops you. Firm, insistent. A woman shakes her head. You step back. She doesn't explain. She doesn't have to. The unspoken rule is simple. Everything in nature either feeds you or kills you. And if you can't tell which, assume the latter. You move more carefully. You find a mushroom. It looks harmless. You sniff it. Your gut clenches. You toss it aside. Good call. Another forager shows you a tuber. Brown, knobby, ugly. He breaks it open and sniffs it, then nods. You mimic the gesture, like you've always known it. It tastes like soil and sadness. But it's food. Back at camp, you present your modest findings. 2 edible roots, some leaves that smell like mint, and a small sour berry that hasn't poisoned you yet. The others don't cheer, but they don't sneer either. Progress. You think about what you're wearing, if wearing is even the right word. Your clothing is a patchwork of animal hides, loosely stitched, uneven, stiff in all the wrong places. It doesn't move with you. It resists. It chafes. The seams feel like they were designed to punish you for existing. There are no sleeves, just holes where limbs are expected. Your boots are strips of hide tied with gut, and they soak up water like a curse. Nearby, someone is softening a hide by chewing it. Yes, chewing. This is not a joke. You watch with horror and awe as they bite down, grinding the leather with molars shaped by evolution and necessity. You touch your own clothes. They feel like a wet rug that tried to strangle a raccoon. There's no tailoring here, no symmetry, no comfort. Only function. The tribe moves around you, laughing softly, sharing strips of meat, weaving nets. They don't exclude you, but they don't include you either. You're not one of them, not yet, maybe not ever. You offer to help, you mess up, you drop tools, you misplace kindling. A child hands you a rock, you hold it like a gift. It was a test, you fail, and still, no one mocks you. That's worse somehow. You're not important enough to tease. You're just part of the background, like a rock that hasn't yet learned how to be useful. Night creeps in again. The fire crackles, the shadows stretch. The world goes black, not dark. Black. A silence hums across the cave, broken only by wind and hunger. You sit alone, the firelight reaching your feet but not your spirit. You think you hear a growl outside. Maybe you do. You don't sleep well. But you're still alive. The next morning is not a beginning. It's a continuation of suffering. You wake up colder than when you fell asleep, which feels physically impossible but somehow isn't. The fur you wrapped yourself in during the night has shifted, bearing one leg and half your back to the cave floor. The stone beneath you hasn't warmed, it never will. Your joints feel rusted. Your ankle throbs like it lost a bet. There's a strange welt on your arm. A bite, maybe. Could be a spider. Could be a rat. You don't even flinch anymore. Outside, the tribe is already moving. Again, always. You wonder if they even sleep. Maybe exhaustion is just something they beat into submission. A wall to be climbed, not a reason to stop. You stumble toward the fire, or what used to be one. The ashes are cold now, scattered by wind or neglect. No one woke you to keep it going. No one felt the need. Someone hands you a stick. No explanation, just a gesture. Vague, firm, uninterested in your questions. Maybe it's for poking at something. Maybe it's symbolic. Maybe it's a polite way of saying, go stand somewhere else. You nod as if you understand. You don't. Every part of your body aches. Not just sore. Violated by tasks it was never designed for. Your knees crunch when you walk. Your shoulders feel hollow. Your back has officially filed a grievance. But there's no place to sit, no time to rest. Others are already reinforcing the shelter, tying bones into a lattice along the wall like ribs. One person is skinning an animal with the ease of someone slicing bread. You try to help. You trip over a child's toy, a small rock with a smile carved into it. The child stares at you like you've committed a cultural crime. You probably have. There are no instructions here, no lists, no tutorials. You're just supposed to know, and if you don't know, you're supposed to watch. Copy, learn, ask nothing, speak little, hope for the best. Then you hear it, a distant rumble, a shift in the air. You think it's thunder. It isn't. It's the beginning of rain. The first drops are small, curious. They tap at your skin like fingers. Then the sky commits. The rain comes heavy and cold, like it resents you personally. Your hide tunic soaks instantly, doubling in weight. The seams begin to leak. Your boots squelch. You pretend not to notice. Everyone else moves with purpose. Firewood is pulled inside. Hides are shifted closer to smoke. Someone ties down the shelter with sinew, a hand clenched on every knot. You stand there, dripping, holding your useless stick like a wet statue. Eventually, someone tosses you a spare pelt. It's half dry. You throw it over your shoulders like royalty in exile. The cave leaks. The floor turns to mud. You watch a centipede wander across your sleeping spot. Proud, determined, more adapted than you'll ever be. You sit against the wall, wrapping your arms around your knees. The storm rages. It howls not like weather, but like a judgment. Then comes the cough. Just a tickle at first, then deeper. It scrapes your throat raw. You try to ignore it. Within hours, your chest wheezes and your nose rebels. Your skin warms, not the comforting warmth of a fire, but the dry, radiating heat of illness. You're sick. There are no words for it here. No diagnosis. Just a look from an elder who's seen this before and doesn't like your odds. Someone presses a clump of crushed leaves into your hand. You chew. It tastes like rotten bitterness. You swallow it anyway. It doesn't help. Next, they stick you in a shallow pit with hot rocks and pour water over them. Steam rises. It burns your lungs, your eyes. You cough until your ribs protest. Then they smear something across your chest, a mix of mud, herbs, and animal grease. It smells like regret and damp fur. You're not allowed to complain. Pain is not negotiable. You bite down on a stick, not for ceremony, but so you don't scream. The healer, a woman with 3 teeth and a permanent scowl, watches without sympathy. She mutters something low and ancient. A prayer or a warning. You can't tell. You dream strange dreams. A squirrel the size of a bison chases you through a forest of fire. A talking tree offers you soup. Your spear melts into a fish. You wake in a puddle of sweat, leaves stuck to your face. Someone checks your forehead. You're not worse. You're not better either. That, apparently, is a win. You try to sit up and bump shoulders with a man near the fire. Just to graze. Nothing serious, but the look he gives you freezes your soul. No words, no threats, just pure warning, like he's deciding whether to let it slide or end you here. You stammer. He says nothing. Someone nearby sharpens a stick slowly. Not related, but not irrelevant. In this world, there are no arguments, just decisions, fast, brutal, often final. No time for talking it out. If things escalate, the options are few. A fight, an exile, or death. You try to apologize with food, a smoked fish. It's rejected, not because of the gesture, but because it's overcooked. Apparently, you've insulted someone's grandmother with your culinary failure. Eventually, a tribal elder breaks a stick in half. Symbolic. You don't know what it means, but the tension eases. The man you bumped walks away. You're not worth killing, not yet. Later, someone pats you on the back. You think it's comfort. It might just be inventory. Checking how many ribs you have left. What you've learned is this. Peace here is not given. It is negotiated through action, deference, and silence. You are tolerated, not accepted. Not yet, but you're still here. Still breathing, and in the Stone Age, that's more than most. You sit alone under the cave's mouth, the rain having slowed to a drizzle, but the cold lingering like a punishment that refuses to leave. Your breath puffs in the air, small ghosts drifting from your lips. You wrap the damp pelt tighter around your shoulders. It doesn't help. You're soaked to the bone, shivering in silence while the others move with practiced calm, adjusting the fire, drying their gear, tending to their tools, and mostly ignoring you. And that's when it hits you. This isn't personal. It never was. You're not hated. You're irrelevant. There's a hierarchy here. Ancient and invisible, carved not by words or charm, but by usefulness. If you can hunt, gather, make or fix, you matter. If you can't, you're scenery, background noise. A burden tolerated for now until nature or logic removes you. You try, once again, to contribute. Someone gestures toward a pile of meat that needs to be dried. You nod quickly and grab a strip. You hang it wrong, too close to the fire, too low, and the fat drips into the coals, sputtering, sending up bitter smoke. A disapproving grunt follows. A woman corrects it with a glance, her hands moving like she's tuning an instrument. You step back. Later, a child walks up and offers you something. A stone blade, chipped but sharp. You smile, assuming it's a gift. It's not. It's a test. You grab it clumsily, hold it backwards, and slice your palm open. Blood drips onto your foot. The child blinks, unimpressed. Nobody says anything. No one even looks surprised. They just move on, like weather. You're just part of the landscape now. Night returns like a thief, sudden and full. There's no twilight here, no romantic fade of golden hour. The sun drops, and the cold surges back with it. You edge closer to the fire, your body hunched, your mind racing with 1,000 fears you can't express. You glance at the tribe, curled up together in a pile of hides, forming one warm, breathing mass. You're not included, you're not trusted. Not after the fishing debacle, not after the failed root foraging, not after sneezing during the last hunt and scaring off a deer. So you stay on the outer ring, the cold side of the cave, alone. Sleep doesn't come. Every sound feels hostile. A rustle of leaves, a distant growl, the wind whistling through cracks in the rock like some ancient voice whispering your name. You curl into yourself, pulling the hide tight, wishing it were thicker, warmer, not soaked through with old blood and damp fur. Then something moves. Not a dream. Real. Heavy. Just outside. You stop breathing. Something exhales behind the rock wall. A low, wet snort that doesn't sound human. Your heart races. Your hand grips a stone, not because it will help, but because it's something. You stare into the dark, into the shifting shadows, and wonder if this is it. If this is how you're removed from the equation, quietly, efficiently, eaten without protest. You think of gourds, not because you believe in them, but because fear makes you wish you did. You wonder what offering would save you. A strip of meat, a whispered apology. You close your eyes, then open them again. You don't sleep, you just wait. Eventually, the sounds fade. The cold deepens. The night wins, and somehow you survive it. Barely. Morning drags you into consciousness like a drunk pulling you from a bar. Your limbs refuse to cooperate. Your back is screaming. Your fingers feel like someone else's. You crawl from the cave mouth on all fours, teeth clenched, breath shaky. Outside, the tribe is already moving. Again, of course. Someone hands you a stick. Again, no words, no smile. Just the endless expectation that you'll figure it out this time. You don't. You drop it. It rolls into the mud. You retrieve it with shaking hands. Your muscles have decided they no longer believe in you. The world is quiet, not peaceful, just watching. You try to start a fire again. This time you think you almost have it. Smoke rises. You smile. Then it sputters, dies. Of course. The smoke turns to wind. The wind turns to shame. A few of the others glance your way, but say nothing. You hear rustling nearby. Someone is repairing the wall of the shelter, this time with animal bones, laced into place with gut. It's grotesque and beautiful. The design is functional, tight, firm against the wind. A masterpiece of survival. You admire it, then trip over it. Loudly, the wall doesn't collapse, thankfully, but a bone comes loose. You freeze. A dozen eyes glance up. Not angry, just resigned. They're used to you now, like they're used to the fire spitting smoke or the cold returning each night. You're not threatening, you're not useful, you're tolerated. And for now, that means you're still part of the tribe. For now, the rain never really stops. It just shifts, slows, becomes mist, then returns when you least expect it, like a memory that keeps showing up uninvited. Everything is damp, your clothes, your hair, your bones. You've started to smell like smoke and wet leather, and not in a poetic way, more like an abandoned barn with a campfire problem. You've given up trying to stay dry. That's not a goal here. That's fiction. Comfort is a luxury the Stone Age does not recognize. It isn't even cruel about it, just indifferent. And yet, life goes on. The storm has passed for now. The wind dies down and the tribe begins shifting their energy again. Quietly, with focus. Some are carving meat to hang over smoky fires. Others are weaving strips of gut into thread. Everything, every motion, every small act serves a purpose. Nothing is decorative. Nothing is wasted. You're trying again. It's become a routine. Find a task, mess it up, try not to bleed too much. Today, it's shaping wood. You've been handed a branch and a flint knife. The idea is simple. Scrape, shape, sharpen. Make it into a tool, or at least make it not useless. You scrape. Too hard, the wood splinters. You adjust, too soft. Nothing happens. Eventually, a woman passes by, glances at your progress, or lack of it, and takes the branch from your hands. In 3 clean strokes, she does what you failed to do in half an hour. She hands it back without a word, and walks on. It's not disrespect, it's efficiency. No one here can afford to babysit you. You sit with your half-shaped stick, ashamed of how proud you are of it. You run your thumb along the edge, imagining that maybe it could be useful, that maybe you're not a complete waste of calories. Later, a group prepares to leave again. Another hunt. You don't volunteer this time. Your last attempt involved falling, fleeing, and almost dying under a boar's tusk. You stay behind, along with the older children and a few of the elders. This, apparently, is the Junior League of Survival. You decide to try foraging again. Surely plants can't be that hard. They sit still. They don't charge at you. They don't bleed. You take your woven pouch and head out. The forest greets you like it always does, with silence and traps. You find a berry bush. It looks familiar. You pause, remembering the slap from last time. You look around. No one stops you. You lean in slowly, sniff, hesitate, then back away. It's not worth the risk. Not anymore. Instead, you dig. Roots, tubers, things that feel like food if you squint hard enough. You scrape at the dirt with a rock, tugging free something that looks like a shriveled limb. You sniff it. It doesn't smell deadly. That's your new standard. A nearby man grunts and shows you a different root, gnarled, brown, slightly sweet. You mimic him. Dig, scrape, pull. Success. It doesn't feel like victory, but it feels less like failure. Back at camp, you lay your findings in a small pile. It's not much, but no one kicks it over, which feels like a small promotion. Now comes the part no one talks about. Clothes. Your outfit, if it can be called that, is evolving. You've started recognizing which parts chafe the worst. You've tried adjusting seams, loosening cords, stuffing fur in new places. None of it helps. Your tunic still smells like damp goat. Your boots squish. Your inner thighs are waging war. You've developed blisters in places you didn't know had skin. A woman nearby is chewing a new hide to soften it. Yes, chewing. You watch in horror as she grinds leather with her molars, her face calm, focused. You glance at your own stiff tunic and consider it, briefly, then decide against it. You're not that desperate. Yet. The fire flickers nearby. You sit close, your hands out, trying to draw in warmth. The smoke stings your eyes, but you stay. The heat is real. The pain is temporary, and you're starting to realize. That's the rule here. Everything hurts. But if it helps, it's worth it. A child hands you something. A carved figure made from bone. It's small, smooth, shaped like a bird or maybe a fish. You nod in thanks. The child shrugs and walks away. No big gesture, just a moment of recognition, a flicker of acceptance. You're still not part of the tribe. Not truly. But maybe, just maybe, you're not entirely outside of it either. Night comes again, as sudden and complete as always. You lie near the fire, not quite in the circle, but not out of it either. The air is cold, your body is tired, your hands smell like earth and ash. You close your eyes. No one drags you away, and for now, that's enough. By now, your body has accepted a new reality. Constant discomfort is the baseline. Soreness is no longer a sign that something's wrong. It's confirmation you're still alive. You've stopped cataloging the aches. There are too many. Some have merged into others. Your feet feel like pounded meat wrapped in swamp. Your fingers are raw from scraping bark and fumbling with knots. Your back throbs from carrying too little, too late, and always the wrong way. But you keep going, because stopping isn't really an option. You've started to learn in the slow, painful way survival always teaches. You now know which roots smell suspicious, which mosses make you itch, which stones cut true and which ones explode into worthless pebbles. Not enough to thrive, not yet. but enough to avoid the most obvious deaths. That's something. The tribe has noticed, not with praise or smiles, but with slightly fewer glances of concern. You're still not trusted, but you're no longer a liability. That's a promotion here. One earned with bruises, blisters, and an increasing ability to not die at every opportunity. Today, you're helping build a trap. It's a crude deadfall. A pile of rocks rigged to collapse when an animal steps on the wrong twig. Someone shows you how to anchor the branches, how to weave the sinew into tension, how to mask the scent with crushed leaves and ash. They don't explain with words, they show you with hands. You copy them, you fail twice. On the third try, the mechanism holds. No applause, just a nod, and that nod feels like a medal. Later, a child drags you to the river, not for water. That was yesterday's mistake. You've learned since then that drinking straight from the stream is a gamble. Today, the goal is fishing. If that word conjures images of hooks and bait, forget them. Here, fishing is about spears, patience, and standing knee-deep in freezing water while pretending you're a statue. The child goes first. They hold a short spear, barely longer than their arm, and stare into the water with the focus of a hawk. A flick, a thrust, a flash of silver, and they pull a small fish from the current like it was inevitable. You try next, you miss. Then again, you miss harder. Eventually, you fall in. The water is colder than regret. The child laughs. The first time you've heard anything like joy from another human since arriving. You climb out, soaked and humiliated, but oddly proud. You tried. You'll try again. That evening, the fire is warmer than usual. A successful hunt returned with meat. Not much, but enough. You're not part of the feast, not entirely. But you're allowed to sit closer. That means something. Someone hands you a roasted root. It's scorched on one end and still dirt-flecked on the other. You eat it like it's a gift, because it is. Around the fire, the tribe speaks. Not loudly. Not with long speeches. Just small sounds, gestures, shared glances. Their language is half motion, half murmur. A dance of meanings built over lifetimes. You catch none of it, but you try to nod at the right moments. You laugh softly when they do. It's like watching a play in a language you don't know. You understand the rhythm, if not the words. No one pushes you away. That's new. Later that night, you lie on your hide and stare up at the cave ceiling. The stars outside are brilliant, harsh, infinite. You wonder what they meant to these people. Gods, signs, nothing. You wonder what they mean to you now. You used to think of survival as a game, a test you could pass with the right tools, the right mindset. But now you know better. Survival isn't a test, it's a language. One written in blood and bone, in smoke and silence, in the long ache of days that ask everything and give nothing back. And maybe, just maybe, you're starting to learn it. You've survived another day. That phrase no longer feels dramatic. It feels like a quiet truth. A quiet truth earned with calloused hands and missed meals, with splinters under your skin and sleep that never goes deep enough to be restful. You haven't thrived, but you haven't failed completely either. And in this era, that's worth something. The tribe still doesn't speak much to you, not directly. But you've learned to listen to the language between words. The way someone tosses you a task instead of doing it themselves. The glance that isn't dismissive anymore, but expectant. They still don't smile when you succeed, but they also don't flinch when you approach. Progress. Today begins like all the others. No warning, no ceremony. Just motion. Life happens here the way weather does, without permission. You rise with the rest, not because you're ready, but because being left behind is worse. You're handed a bundle of sticks. The fire needs more fuel. You know what to do this time. You arrange them the way you saw the elder do, building the frame just right. A single spark from a flint catches. The flame crawls upward like a newborn, learning to stand. It lives. Barely. But it lives. And no one has to fix it for you. Later, someone hands you a bone, flat, polished, drilled with holes, a tool for weaving, the kind of object you wouldn't have looked twice at in another life, now handed to you like a sacred responsibility. You're not good at it. The sinew slips. Your fingers cramp. But you persist. You manage a loop, then a knot, then something resembling a net, or at least not resembling a disaster. A young girl leans over, adjusts your grip, guides your hand. Doesn't speak, just teaches. You don't ask her age. You don't need to. She's older than you in all the ways that matter here. By midday, the sun has returned. Not warm, but visible. It casts long, slanting beams through the forest, revealing the skeletons of trees and the breath of birds. You head out with a group of gatherers again. This time, you spot a familiar root, thick, ugly, nutritious. You dig without being told. You find something else too, a patch of small yellow flowers, delicate and fragrant. They're not edible, not useful, but you pluck one anyway. A woman sees you. For a moment, her eyes narrow. Then, unexpectedly, she smiles. Just barely. You offer her the flower. She takes it, says nothing. But you feel it, a connection. The return to camp is quiet, no boasting, no noise. Everyone moves like they're part of something larger, a rhythm, a system. You try to move that way too. No longer forcing yourself to belong, just allowing yourself to participate. That night, as you sit beside the fire, something changes. You're invited into the circle, not with words, with space. Someone shifts slightly, making room. Someone else hands you a strip of roasted meat. Not the worst cut, not the smallest. You take it. Chew. Swallow. Nod. The conversation around the fire flows in its usual half-spoken way. You don't understand most of it, but you don't feel excluded. You listen. You observe. You belong. Not because they say so, but because they don't have to say it anymore. Before sleep, one of the elders traces something into the dirt. A shape. A memory. A warning, maybe. The others watch. You do too. The wind howls outside the cave, but inside it is warm, not just with fire, but with breath, with presence, with silence that finally feels safe. You curl up in your hide. It's still stiff. It still stinks, but it's yours now, shaped to your body, forgiving in the way only time can teach. You fall asleep knowing tomorrow will be the same, harsh, quiet, indifferent. But you will wake up in it, and that means you've earned another chance. The day starts with a new kind of silence, not the emptiness of confusion, but the quiet of anticipation. Something is different. You feel it before anyone says anything. Not that they would. No one here announces intentions. They move, and you move with them, or you get left behind. This time, they're heading out again. Not to gather, not for firewood. You recognize the look on their faces, the sharpened spears, the way their shoulders set. It's a hunt. You're handed a spear. Again. But this time, it's not tossed at you like a joke. It's placed in your hand. Deliberately. Like maybe, just maybe, you won't screw it up this time. The group is small, fast, focused. You follow them into the woods, breath tight, eyes scanning. Everything is still. The birds have stopped singing. That's the first warning. Something is out there. Not you, not them. Something bigger. Then you hear it. Movement. Hoof against dirt. A grunt. A heavy rhythm. Primal and slow. The others fan out, sliding between trees like shadows. You stay low, as you were shown. You clutch your spear, not too tight, not too loose. And then, there it is. A deer. Not majestic, not cinematic, just large, lean, and very real. Its eyes are wide. It sees you. The world freezes. Someone whistles sharply. The deer bolts. The group explodes into motion. You run, barely keeping up. The undergrowth tears at your legs. Branches slap your face. Your breath comes fast. Pain blooms in your side, but you push it down. You follow the deer's path. Broken twigs, churned mud. Then you see it. A clearing, a trap. Someone got ahead of it. The deer stumbles, catches a snare around its leg. It doesn't fall, it thrashes, it screams. Then the spears fly. 3, 4, one after another. Each strike thuds with brutal finality. Blood sprays, steam rises from its wounds. The air fills with iron and instinct. You don't throw your spear, you freeze. Again. But no one turns to you with disappointment this time. You made it this far. That's more than they expected a few days ago. The body is dragged back, heavy, unyielding. You help carry it, not gracefully, but with effort, with sincerity. Your hands are slick with blood. Your shoulders burn. But you don't complain. That too is a lesson learned. Back at camp, the mood is different. Lighter. There's no celebration. Not really. Just a soft hum of success. A quiet exhale. The deer is skinned, gutted, butchered with the same cold efficiency as always. Every part is used. Nothing is wasted. Even the bones are set aside for tools, for needles, for fuel. You're handed a chunk of meat, not the scraps, a real piece. You roast it yourself, slowly over a controlled flame. You don't burn it, you don't drop it, you eat it without grimacing. It tastes good, not just in your mouth, but somewhere deeper, somewhere tired, somewhere hungry in a way food alone doesn't fix. You sit by the fire afterward, chewing slowly, feeling something shift inside you. Not pride, not comfort, understanding. That night, the stars are sharp, the air is brittle, but the cold doesn't bite as deeply. Your hide blanket feels warmer, not because it's changed, but because you have. Your skin is tougher, your muscles tighter, your fear quieter. You sleep on your side, one hand still resting on your spur, and when you dream not of escape, but of fire, of stone, of hands that know what they're doing. You're not a hunter. Not yet.
But you're not just prey anymore either. You wake to a stillness that's different from sleep. It's not peace, it's pressure. The kind of silence that suggests something is about to happen and the world is holding its breath. The fire is low but not out. That's new. Someone tended it while you slept. Not for you, of course. No one here keeps watch for your comfort, but still. The warmth lingers. You take it as a quiet invitation to remain. Outside, the air is sharp. Not just cold, sharp. Like it wants to peel your skin back and see if your bones are learning anything. The tribe is already in motion. Always. There's no such thing as first or late here. Only moving and not moving. Living and not. A few people are preparing hides, others twisting cord, some patching the shelter. You glance around for a place to help. Not because you think they need you, but because you're starting to understand the deeper truth of this place. If you're not useful, you're in the way. So you find a task. The wall near the cave entrance needs reinforcing. You grab a bundle of bone struts and begin slotting them into the gaps. Your fingers are stiff, but you keep at it. The structure creaks. You tighten the sinew. It holds. Someone walks past, glances at your work, and says nothing. That silence feels like respect. For the first time, you realize that here, silence isn't absence, it's currency. No correction means competence. No grunt means approval. You carry this thought with you as you head toward the cooking pit. You offer to help dry the remaining meat. You're shown a motion: twist, press, hang. You repeat it. You get it right. It's mundane, repetitive, sticky work, but it matters. In this world, survival is cumulative. Small tasks stack into shelter, into warmth, into food. One misstep, one lazy effort, and the whole chain breaks. You're beginning to see the pattern now. This is not a society of rules written on walls. It's a world of expectations carved into behavior. People don't rise to greatness here. They sink into usefulness slowly, consistently, until no one remembers when they were new. You want that. You want to be part of the background noise that keeps everyone alive. Later, you're sitting by the fire, skin raw from scraping hides, fingers sore from weaving sinew. A child sits beside you, says nothing, hands you a rock, not sharp, not special, just a rock. You take it, hold it, hand it back. They nod, as if something has been said and heard. You don't understand what, that's okay. A moment passes. Then a louder sound breaks the quiet, a shout, not angry but urgent. Heads turn. A scout has returned from the edge of the valley. Something is coming. Maybe a herd, maybe a threat. Everyone shifts. Weapons are checked. Fires are dampened. Packs are tightened. It's not panic, it's choreography. You join the motion, imitating what you see. You're not told what to do, but you're not stopped either. You take your spear, your hide, your pouch. You move with them. As the group fans out along the tree line, you find your breath sinking with theirs. You don't feel ready, but you feel necessary. And in the Stone Age, that's almost the same thing. The air is thick with tension. The kind that doesn't speak but moves through shoulders, in glances, in the sound of flint on bone. Everyone is preparing, not with loud declarations or marching drums, with motion. Quiet, swift, certain. The kind of preparation you only see when danger has visited before and might again. You don't know what the threat is. No one tells you. They don't need to. You've learned to read the signs. The scouts returning faster. The fire reduced to embers, tools tucked away. Children pulled in clothes. This is not panic. This is protocol. And you, strange as it still feels, are now part of it. Someone hands you a bundle of dried meat. Rations, a strip of hide. A corded satchel. You take them without question. Your role is small but real. You're not here to lead or decide. You're here to endure and not get in the way. The tribe moves out, not all at once, not in a line. They melt into the forest. You follow. You step where they step. You breathe when they breathe. Every sound feels louder than it should, the crunch of leaves, the snap of twigs, your own heartbeat hammering against your ribs. They move toward a ridge. You climb, fingers gripping stone and root. Your hands are stronger now, not skilled, but less fragile. You crest the rise and crouch. Below in the valley something stirs. A herd. Animals grazing, large, dangerous. Elk or something like them, not prey you chase, but prey you ambush. They're far but close enough to matter. The tribe watches, waits. They do not rush. You are told nothing. But when a man taps your shoulder and gestures, 2 fingers, then a pointed hand, you understand. Move there. Wait. You crawl into position beneath a fallen log, spear ready, heart pounding. You wait. Minutes pass. Then movement. One of the scouts makes a sound, not loud, not sharp, but rhythmic. A signal. You see the plan unfold like a story written in muscle and memory. 2 flank left. 1 circles wide. Another releases a snare. You grip your spear tighter. Then chaos. The herd explodes into motion, hooves pounding, bodies crashing through brush. One veers off, a young male, separated, wounded, maybe, or just unlucky. It runs right toward you. You raise the spear. Your hands shake. You throw. You miss. Not entirely. The spear grazes its flank, a shallow wound, but enough to slow it. Another hunter finishes the job. The animal falls hard, kicking, then stills. It takes 3 spears and 4 people to bring it down. You stay where you are, stunned, shaking, breathing like you've run for miles. No one cheers. No one claps you on the back, but someone picks up your spear and hands it back to you. Wordless. You take it. Back at the camp, the carcass is carved with the same reverence you've come to expect. No waste, no hesitation. Blood is caught in bowls. Fat is scraped into hides. Bones are cracked for marrow. It is not celebration. It is ceremony. You're given a task, clean the sinew. You do it without protest. Later, as smoke curls into the evening sky and meat sizzles over the fire, someone passes you a piece without being asked. You take it, not like a gift, like a portion. You chew in silence. You're not the best, not even close. You're still slow, still clumsy, but you're no longer a visitor here. You're something else now. You belong. It begins with a cough. At first it's nothing, just a dry rasp in your throat, a little tickle from the smoke. You ignore it. Everyone coughs here. The air is harsh. The night's colder than breath. A sore throat is part of life, but it doesn't go away. By mid-morning, your chest feels heavy. You're wheezing, quiet at first, but persistent. Your nose starts to run, not clear like water, but thick, yellow. Your skin is warm, not from the fire, but from something growing underneath it. Something ancient and bacterial. A sickness with no name, no warning, no cure, only time or death. You say nothing. No one asks. They can see it, the sweat, the fatigue, the glazed stare. But here, illness is not a conversation. It's a condition to endure or succumb to. There are no doctors, no herbs neatly labeled on wooden shelves. No one wraps you in blankets or takes your temperature. Here, medicine is pain, endured quietly, cured only by the stubborn refusal to die. Someone notices you stumbling. An elder, gaunt, silent, watchful. They grunt, disappear behind a cluster of hides, and return with something in their palm. Crushed leaves mixed with what smells like old sweat and regret. You chew it because it's handed to you, and that's all the permission you need. It tastes like earth rotting under rain. It doesn't help. Later, they try steam. They dig a hole near the fire, line it with hot stones, cover it with a hide. You crawl inside, breath shallow, body soaked. Water splashes the rocks. Steam rises in waves. Your lungs scream. Your skin burns. You cry not from emotion, but from sheer physical rebellion. Your head spins. Your fingers twitch. Your heart hammers like it's trying to run away. Someone outside murmurs a chant, or maybe it's just breathing. Eventually, the heat breaks you. You crawl out, vomiting bile and snot, collapsing into the cold air like a broken puppet. A woman smears something on your chest, mud, herbs, maybe animal fat. You don't ask. You can't. Your voice is gone. She doesn't explain. She doesn't need to. You've entered the Stone Age healthcare system. Leaf, mud, steam, prayer, and luck. Always luck. They give you a stick to bite on when the pain is worst. That's all. No sympathy. No morphine, just wood and silence. You dream strange things, animals with human faces, rivers that speak, your spear melting into fire. You wake with your face stuck to the dirt, eyes crusted, lips cracked. You're not better, but you're not dead. That counts for something. Later, you sit by the fire, wrapped in a pelt that smells like mildew and ash. You stare into the flames, not thinking, not feeling, just existing. A child passes by and tosses a bone toward the coals. It cracks in the heat, splitting with a sound like laughter. Someone hands you a drink, warm water in a hollowed gourd. It tastes like dirt, but it's safer than the stream. You sip slowly. You hold it like it matters. It does. You're not cured, not healed, but you're still here, still breathing, still inside the circle. And that in the Stone Age is survival, not strength, not victory, just breath. By now, you don't wake up expecting warmth. You don't wait for comfort or softness or something as modern as motivation. You wake because the world demands it, because time here isn't measured in hours or minutes. It's measured in motion. Who moves, who doesn't, who contributes, who fades, who survives. Your sickness hasn't passed, not entirely. It clings to your ribs like fog, rattles your breath at night, leaves your limbs heavy with fatigue. But your legs still hold you. Your hands still work. That's enough, more than enough, and no one says otherwise. No one congratulates you. No one offers praise, but you notice the difference. A woman passes you a bundle of hide strips, not a test, a task. A man hands you a piece of meat without watching to see if you drop it. A child tosses you a rock, not as a joke, but as part of a game you've seen the others play. Small signals, quiet acceptance. You are no longer the outsider. You are just another body in the rhythm of this world. But that doesn't mean this world is done testing you. Midday comes with a shift in the wind. The birds vanish. The dogs, if they can still be called that, grow quiet. You feel it before you see anything. A pressure. Low, distant, like thunder underground. Then it arrives. Wolves. Not a pack, not yet, just a scout at first. Thin, cautious, watching from the edge of the forest. Its eyes glow like coins in the shade. A warning, then more, 5, 6, maybe more behind the brush, hungry, lean, moving like water with teeth. The tribe responds immediately. No panic, just action. Spears are grabbed. Children pulled into the cave. The fire is stoked high, flames leaping, smoke thickening. You are handed a weapon, not your old clumsy spear, a proper one, balanced, sharpened. They trust you now. Or at least they don't have time not to. The wolves circle. They don't charge, they wait. That's what makes them dangerous. They're not rabid. They're not desperate. They're smart. They've done this before. A long standoff follows. Minutes, hours, you can't tell. The fire crackles. The wind howls. Your breath hangs in the air like a slow countdown. And then one lunges, a blur of fur and fang. A spear meets it midair. Not yours, someone faster, stronger, but it inspires the others. Another rushes in from the side. This one's yours. You don't think, you move. Your feet plant. Your hand tightens, you thrust. The spear lands deep, not perfect, but enough. The wolf jerks, snarls, crashes to the dirt. You stumble back, heart racing. Another leaps and another spear finds it. Chaos, firelight, snapping jaws, shouts, blood. Then silence. 3 wolves down, the others flee. The forest closes behind them, and you're still standing. Breathing hard, spear slick, arms shaking but alive. Afterward, no one cheers. Instead, the wolves are dragged into the open, skinned, gutted. Their bodies become meat. Their hides become coats. Their bones become needles. Nothing is wasted. You are given a strip of fur from the one you struck. Not a trophy, a necessity. It will become a cuff or a lining or a bit of warmth for someone else. You hold it anyway, feeling the rough texture beneath your fingers. That night the cave is different. The fire burns brighter. The people sit closer. Not to you, but with you. You're part of the warmth now, part of the light. The talk around the fire is quiet but not private. You're included in the sound, even if you don't understand the words. Someone passes you a piece of charred meat, better cut than usual. Someone else refills your water gourd before their own. These are the things that matter here. These are the currencies of respect. Later, you help set the night watch, just for a few hours. No one trusts you to keep guard alone, not yet, but they trust you enough to be part of it. You sit near the cave mouth, spear in hand, watching the dark shift and breathe. You hear animals move beyond the trees. You hear the wind whisper across stone. You hear your own heartbeat, steady now. Not frantic, not lost. And as the stars wheel overhead, clear and ancient, you feel something you never expected to find here. Not peace, not pride, but place. This world doesn't care who you were before. It never asked. It never will. But it's taught you something. That survival is not about strength, not about dominance. It's about rhythm, about patience, about learning to move with the world, not against it. You came here soft, clumsy, loud. You didn't last a day, not really. But you've lasted longer than that now. You've bled, burned, and been broken. And still you rise. And tomorrow, when the fire is nothing but ash and the tribe begins moving again, you'll rise with them. Not behind, not beside, with.